Bem-vindo. Silence is usually described as peaceful, a moment of rest, a pause between noises. But that night, silence felt different. It wasn't empty. It was heavy, as if the air itself had stopped moving, holding its breath. No wind touched the trees, no insects sang, no distant cars crossed the road, just silence. And somehow, it felt intentional. People later said they sensed it before they noticed it, a pressure in the chest, a subtle instinct whispering that something was wrong. Not fear yet, just awareness, the kind you feel when you realize you're no longer alone, even though nothing has appeared. That was the first warning, and it was ignored. The town had always been quiet at night, small, isolated, forgotten by most maps. Silence was normal there, but this silence was different. It stretched longer than it should have. Minutes passed without a single sound, then hours. Some residents stepped outside, expecting to hear something, anything. Their own footsteps echoed unnaturally loud, as if the ground resisted being disturbed. Dogs refused to bark, lights flickered without reason, and shadows seemed misplaced, not moving, not growing, just waiting. People began reporting the same sensation, a feeling of being observed from somewhere just beyond sight, not behind, not above, but around it, as if the darkness itself had gained awareness. At first, no one spoke openly about it. Fear spreads faster when it has words, and no one wanted to give it language. But then the sounds began. Footsteps, slow, measured, always stopping the moment someone turned around. Doors creaked open by themselves, only to be found untouched. Windows reflected shapes that disappeared when approached. And still, no one ever saw anything clearly. That was the most unsettling part. It always arrived after midnight. It always lasted exactly 13 minutes. And it always ended the same way, with a single sound, a deep, low vibration, not loud, but powerful, felt more in the bones than the ears. Those who heard it described the same reaction, a sudden urge not to move, not to breathe, not to blink. Instinct screamed one command: do not draw attention. People who ignored that instinct paid a price. One man laughed it off, stepping outside during the silence. Witnesses later said he froze mid-step, not paralyzed, aware. His eyes followed something no one else could see. When the silence lifted, he collapsed, alive but changed. He never spoke again. Another woman stared too long into the darkness behind her house. Neighbors found her sitting on the ground hours later, whispering apologies to nothing. Every incident shared one detail. They had looked directly into the dark. Eventually, someone stayed awake on purpose, not out of bravery, out of desperation. They wanted answers. As midnight approached, they turned off every light, closed every door, and waited. The silence arrived like a curtain falling, instant, absolute, then something new. The feeling of pressure intensified, as if the space in the room was shrinking. The air grew colder, but not physically, emotionally. That was when it became clear. The silence wasn't the absence of sound, it was presence. A presence that moved only when unnoticed, that advanced only when ignored. It didn't chase, it didn't hunt, it waited, waiting for curiosity, waiting for fear, waiting for eye contact. And when someone finally noticed it fully, when their awareness aligned with its own, it imprinted itself, not on the body, on the mind. That was its purpose, to be acknowledged, to be remembered. And once remembered, it never truly left. The witness described the moment in fragments later. They said the darkness didn't move. Reality bent toward it instead. Sounds returned slowly, distorted, Their own heartbeat sounded distant, unfamiliar. And then came the realization. The silence wasn't surrounding them. It was inside them. Every thought slowed. Every memory felt exposed, as if something unseen was reading them, judging them, waiting for permission. The witness resisted the urge to look deeper into the dark. They focused on breathing, on grounding themselves in the moment. And for the first time, something unexpected happened. The pressure eased, the silence retreated, as if disappointed. Morning came, but the town never fully returned to normal. Sounds felt louder than before. Laughter felt forced. Sleep became shallow and fragile. Those affected shared a permanent change. They could no longer tolerate complete silence. They slept with radios on, with fans running, with any noise that reminded them they were not alone in their own thoughts, because now they knew the truth. Silence is not empty. Sometimes it listens. And if you ever find yourself in a moment where everything goes quiet, too quiet, don't search the darkness. Don't try to understand it. Don't look directly into it. Because the moment you become aware of it, it becomes aware of you, and it will wait. Some say the silence still returns to that town. Others believe it never left. The question is, have you ever noticed a moment when everything goes quiet and felt like you weren't alone? Esse foi apenas mais um arquivo. Alguns casos terminam. Outros apenas esperam. Se você ouviu até aqui,